We've assembled a panel here for a couple different perspectives. Of course, Seth Greenberg, former college basketball coach. Of course, Herm Edwards, former college football player, NFL coach. Trevor Maddich, also NFL player and college coach. Because this is more than just Louisville, what we're talking about here as it relates to money going to recruits. Trevor, I'm going to start with you. As it relates to the recruiting process and how it has evolved through the years, how pervasive is it where these kids or some handlers of these kids are getting money to steer certain recruits to certain schools?
Well, that's where the corruption lies, isn't it? Because if you are advising these kids, that's one thing. But if you are sending kids to a certain school because you, the advisor, will get more money for it, then it changes everything. And what it does is makes everything good for the adults that are breaking the law, apparently, at the expense of what's best for the kids. And I think that's where you start from a standpoint of this thing spiraling out of control over the course of decades.
We heard from Pitino yesterday. He called it shocking. He said characters of a third party would be facilitating something like this. So it brings you to the question, and I'm speaking to you, head coaches. How much knowledge should you as a head coach have of the happenings in your program?
I will say this, and as you mentioned, I was a former player. Obviously, I was a college coach as well.
Yes, you were.
So I was on the recruiting trail of trying to get these young athletes to come to San Jose State. There's two things that you need to know about coaching, and here's number one when you're the head coach. Either you're coaching it, the situation, or you're allowing it to happen. It's on your watch. So if you're not coaching it, but you're allowing it to happen, still on your watch. You have to know everything. And I think there comes a point to when you're recruiting young athletes, whether it's in college, high school, wherever it may be, when you compromise your values, you're in trouble. Because then there's no line. And you as a head coach, you have to set that precedent with the guys that are going out visiting with these kids. Say, look, we understand we want to get good players. That helps us win. Everyone's good. But if it's going to compromise my values and what I believe in, then we're not crossing that line.
Yeah, but Coach, you don't compromise your values. Then the guys that do compromise their values end up with better recruits, and there is a self-selection there towards cheating.
Well,
and it accelerates, and I think that's why it's gotten as bad as it is.
Well, look, and I heard Seth this morning. I went to the University of California, by the way, right out of high school. We got 5 years. We're on probation. 5 years, okay? And it wasn't because we were, getting free books. Let's put it that way.
Right.
All right? So this thing's always been going on. It's gotten so big now, and we see it. I see it. I coach the Under Armour All-American game, and I see it. I see these young athletes that feel like they're entitled a little bit. Who's entitling them? I don't know. But it starts at a young age. It's probably worse in basketball than it is football.
It's much worse in our sport.
Yes, that's what I'm going to say. It's much worse in you.
Be identified
You can tell right in high school.
at an earlier age.
Right. No doubt. So all these things are coming about. And as you as a head coach, you got to filter through all that. And you still got to get good athletes, okay? But do you compromise your values as a coach? And I get it. You're paid to win.
If you don't, the guy who compromises is going to beat you.
Right,
well, that might be true and that might not be true. It's according to what type of athlete you're going after.
But you talk about who these kids feel entitled.
Yeah.
My question is, I'd like to ask Seth, too, what you think about this. My thought is, why aren't they entitled? I mean, if they're worth six figures for businesses, say, to funnel to them to get them to a certain school because their winning helps the image of that business because of certain relationships, which is being alleged right now. If they're worth six figures, why shouldn't they feel entitled to receiving it? And as part of this, because we have denied entertainers the market value of their services, and therefore we're drawing in an underground economy to make up for that void.
I understand what you're saying, but guess what? You signed on, and those are the rules.
Well, those are the rules, but you're a high school player. You haven't signed on yet.
I'm just saying there's rules that everyone has to
But what I'm saying is that those rules might be unfair, though.
First of all, I understand where you're coming from, Trevor, but you don't have to go play college basketball. Yeah. You can go to the G League. You can go over to Europe. No one's making you do anything. That's your choice.
Right.
All right.
But
now,
my point is
when you talk about the third-party people that are willing to pay them, those people are willing to pay them because they are going to get a return. Why do these elite young players need money managers? Why? Because a money manager today in the culture of our game knows you're on loan for 7 months.
That's right.
And then once you're done, you're going to sign. If you're a lottery pick, it's $12 million a shoe contract. I'm getting 4, 10% or whatever it is. I'm getting my money back in 7 months.
Sure, but
this is a good investment.
But if I'm 18-year-old Trevor, if that investment is worth the money to them, that means my services are worth the money, and I'm being denied it above board, and I've got to get it below board.
How good were you as a player?
How good was I?
Player. You were like really good.
Coming out of high school, he was really good.
I was a pretty good player.
Like you were really good.
Yeah.
All right. How many people went to your BYU football games?
How many people went to me?
Attended games, like 30, 40,000, 50,000 fans?
Yeah, anywhere between 40 and 60, depending on the stadium.
How many people go now?
65.
65.
Yeah.
So as good as you were, and they're not close to being as good right now. Mm-hmm. Those BYU fans, and I'm not devaluing the value of a player. Those BYU fans, they're good. BYU's not that good in football right now. I mean, they're all right.
Yeah, they look good in the uniforms, though.
Okay.
I like that Y.
Yeah. Right. But you know what? They're still going.
But
there were 75,000 people watching Georgia Tech play Tennessee. All right. And hey, you're a football guy, and I'm sure those fans know some of those dudes.
Yep.
But it's not like I can say, oh yeah, well that dude, I'm coming to watch that guy. No, because the people at the Y, they love the Y, and the people at Georgia Tech love Georgia Tech. And I understand the players have value, and I think we can do more to help the players. But here's the deal. It is a choice.
Yes.
You choose to participate. You choose to get that opportunity. You choose to get an opportunity to get that exposure, have that experience. That's a choice. No one's making you have to do it.
And you choose to be a coach. And what is your values as a coach? And I understand what Trevor's saying. Hey, you want good players. And you know what? You might miss 1 or 2 of them. And they might go somewhere else. And that guy might beat you. But at the end, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, look, beside me just winning games, I'm a builder of men. Let's don't lose sight of that. I mean, you're a builder of men. I mean, it's bigger than just the game you're coaching.